Hi, this is Libby Waters, and I'm doing a video about my preteen years. There are always some interesting and embarrassing stories involving the age around the time when you hit puberty, because you don't know you're going through a time of changes and things tend to change. Like your first zit, your first period, and your first crush, etc., etc., etc. I grew up in the 90s, so I can remember Ricky Martin, Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls, Beanie Babies, Doug, Rugrats, Nickelodeon. I can remember it all, and I love them all very much as a preteen. I had to have every Beanie Baby ever created. I was dancing along to Britney Spears, Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, and bands like that when I was about 11 and 12, and I loved cartoons, especially on Nickelodeon, because they had the best cartoons. My brother and sister loved the Cartoon Network. I didn't like it. I just didn't. I was more of a Nickelodeon person. I was more of a Hey Arnold, Doug, Rugrats person. And Rugrats was one of my favorite shows growing up. And also was Hey Arnold and all that. And the Amanda Bynes show before she went crazy. I like that too. I had couple Britney Spears dolls growing up, and I had a huge crush on Ricky Martin before I knew he was gay. So that was pretty interesting. I had boy bands that I liked. I was also into Anastasia and the Romanovs, and around that time I wanted to be a Russian princess. Go figure. I could only wear name brand clothing and stuff like that. I went through that phase where I could only wear Tommy Hilfiger clothes. Go figure. I was like about 12 years old and I couldn't stand Walmart clothes. Obviously, things have changed. I loved going swimming. So, my mom bought me my first bikini, and of course it was a modest bikini because I was still a young girl. I wasn't even a teenager, so I could not get that cool bikini I wanted. But Mom was probably right, because when I went on that diving board, my bikini top slipped, exposing one of my breasts for all the other preteen and teenage boys to look at. I had not noticed it, and I was pulled by a lifeguard saying, your breast is exposed. I had to put it up. I was only 11 years old, and that was the most embarrassing moment ever. And people remembered that moment, especially the guys. Do you remember when you saw Libby's chest? And I was like, oh my gosh, you actually remember that moment? Gosh. That was embarrassing. And I remember when I was turning 12, me and my friend wanted to go on this really scary ride, and we had to have this cute black guy sit with us so we would be less scared. We screamed our heads off, and we ended up we were screaming, turn off this ride, turn off this ride. And then they eventually stopped. It was embarrassing, but we both admit that guy was really cute for a carny. I think we're about 12 years old, and when that happened, and I was having my birthday. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Also, I can remember, I wasn't allowed to see the movie Titanic, for the longest time, and I really wanted to see it. And finally, I got to see it with my mom, and I thought it was so cool. I think it was the fact that I could not see it and that I really liked the movie. I was really crazy about it. Leonardo DiCaprio was so cute. I had a crush on him. But it didn't last that long. It lasted about a year or so, and I don't really watched the movie since. I guess, I lost interest in it. It was one of those things that I had. It was one of those things that I had happen when I was 11, and looking back at it, it was kind of silly. Also, when I was about 11 years old, I think a tornado hit. My mom lived out of town from where we lived, and she was moving back to Jesus from Dungan-Waters, Nebraska, and a tornado hit Grand Island area, and we're driving in the middle of from Dungan-Waters to Grand Island, and I saw a tornado hit the ground. It hit the field, and we could see corn going in the area. That scared the living shit out of the 11-year-old Libby. And this was the first time that I ran out of the car and started swearing these people at the people's door, and they were like, "Who was this kid swearing?" And my knuckles were covered in blood because I had to overreact, and I guess that was really embarrassing. I mean, I was shocked that I had seen that happen. I thought, oh man, we're gonna die. And I got talked about, that it was, probably scary, but not to overreact, and yeah. And when I was when I went first day of 6th grade, a couple days after, I had left my lunch in my niece's car, and I was really upset, and I started saying, shit. Before then, I really have not sweared. Swearing was evil, and my teacher heard me saying it. And I said, I lost my lunch, and she's, okay, but you're not supposed to say that word. And that was the first time I started to swear when I was 12 years old, because before then I didn't swear at all. I mean, I tried my best not to say anything, not even crap or anything, and I started to swear when I was 12 years old, so that's something to tell the grandkids. I also was big into teen magazines. They don't have very much. They only have Teen People, Teen Vogue, and a bunch of crappy Teen Bop and stuff. That I don't know why Teen Bop stays around, but YM, you don't hear about YM or Cosmo Girl or Teen People, which were very good magazines, mind you, for that time, and I'd sit around reading teen magazines. They don't have them, and the adult magazines aren't quite like teen magazines used to be. I guess that the closest thing I can get to a good magazine is Cosmopolitan and Glamour. And I'm not big in tabloids, so I guess I grew out of it. Got out of the magazine style thing. I guess it has changed because you have the web now and you can look it up on that, and you don't need teen magazines or for women or anything like that. But it was fun, and I'm kind of nostalgic and looking back, and I should have saved my teen magazines, but I had so many issues that it would be considered hoarding to keep them all, so I obviously shouldn't, just kept a couple of them, not all of them, but just to remember my teenage years. Yeah. And when I was a preteen, I had a few crushes. That was pretty interesting. I remember we had a nanny that I didn't understand, but she helped me through my preteen years somewhat. She gave me advice about boys and popularity and not growing up too fast, and she gave me privileges and let my dad listen to more modern music and like Britney Spears and stuff like that, and dress more trendier and dress like a normal teenager. And I thank her for that because I got that experience. I guess it was hard for my dad to realize that I was growing up. But I grew up and turned into a teenager anyway, bratty, and kind of stuck up, but teenager. I'll talk more about my teenage years later. This is about my preteen years. So I guess I just wonder if anybody went through that kind of awkward period, like watching your first shows in grade school about periods and attraction to boys. That was kind of weird. They talked about periods, acne, and sweat. And I thought the first one show was on 5th grade, and the second one we found out what happened to boys and how boys get wet dreams. That was pretty funny. I think the girls have to go through a lot harder things than boys will ever have to go through. Periods suck no matter what age you are, and trust me, they come unexpected, and yeah. But I'm not sure I could handle a wet dream either. Sorry, boys. Well, leave your comments, and I will make more videos like this because it's more fun videos, kind of.